are you? How are you? How are you? It's a beautiful spring morning in Australia, well, in the Blue Mountains where I'm at. And you might hear in the background, I've got the kettle going. I thought I'd just quickly try and sneak a cup of coffee in before the stream went live. But, you know, as always, I'm doing something, got preoccupied. Bang, it's saying, where are you? Where are you? Well, here I am. Now, couple of things that I'm going to do today. I'm going to try and finish off this cuttings holder project. So I've been working on a couple of others, and they're looking really, really good. We've actually finished the one that I started last week, and it's up in the house, and I'll run a quick video on that right now. How's that sound? Again, here we go. I'm going to put it back over again because I hadn't enabled the sound on that particular video. So here it is. This is the terrarium almost. So it looks really nice. I'm very happy with it. I'll slide back up to here because it's going to slide around to another part in a second, I'm sure. So that's, as I say, it's sitting in our lounge room on the table. Some of the cuttings have no cap, and we're just trialing out whether or not having a cork stopper in the top is going to be any good as far as creating a terrarium and have the roots grow and all of that kind of stuff. So we'll see what happens. It doesn't look so bad. You know, people do tea light holders, and David's gone and done a test tube holder for the middle of the lounge room. What do you reckon, guys? Okay, good morning to everyone there, and as I've said before, we're going to try and change the format around a little bit and see if we can push on with more projects. So what I'm going to do is, today I'm going to finish this particular candle, or not candle, tea light holder, or you could have it as a candle holder, I guess, but it's for these cuttings. So over at the drill press, I've got the drill all set up, the vac set up, because people were saying to me last week as well, Dave, it might be an idea if you actually set everything up. But here I was thinking that live was actually live, and I would be doing what I really do in the workshop, and that is I spend a bit of time mucking around, getting myself sorted and put things in position before I actually make anything. I don't know if you guys do it or whether you've got some superhuman powers that lets you just go bang, and there it is. That's all there. Drill, sand, what have you. So today I'm going to finish, I'll drill one more hole. And this time I was thinking it might be an idea with the drill press if I actually use a clamp to hold the product in position. I was thinking last week when I was watching the video, because I try and review what I've done, and I was thinking it looks a bit dangerous, and if that, because the hole is such a deep plunge, if I was to pull the drill back out, it might grab and could be a little bit awkward. So I'll go through that. Then I've said I'll show you the Stanton method of waxing. I've had some interesting replies to that on Facebook. It's not the eyebrows anymore. Well, that still happens, but not this particular time. It'll be waxing the cypress. This cypress vine comes up very, very nice with this stuff. This is the product I use. I'm not getting a wrap for it. It's just, that's what I use. So I'll try and let you guys know what I do. I was also going to mount the air filter back up on the ceiling because I took it down because it had stopped working. There was something wrong with the circuit board on it, and the people I got it from said, not a problem, we'll fix it under warranty, that's fine. So I'm going to pop it back up. But I was going to put it in a different position, and you'll notice around the workshop here, I've got a fair few new LED lights. So I'm slowly transitioning from fluorescent to LED. Now for me, it's working really well because you may notice that apart from my natural beauty, the images that you're getting are going to be a whole lot clearer than what they were when I had fluorescent tubes, especially in the live situation. So I'm trying to change right the way through the workshop. I've ordered the last sets of LEDs, and thank you to John Lafferty for putting me on to the people where I can get them from. It's just on eBay. And one of them is going to be 600 by 600, so it will mount directly to the underside of the room air filter. So I was looking at everything, I don't really need to put any more new trimmers in. I'll mount it in a position where the old one was, and put the light in underneath it. Also, you may remember that a few weeks ago, when I had Ben Futrell up here, one of the questions that was asked when we were doing the chat, and Ben and I were both sitting here, what magazine or what literature do you read as far as magazines or books and things? And I said Australian Woodsmith. Now, I've got a heap of these lying around, and you know, I love this magazine. Again, I'm not getting a kickback. This is what I read. It has so many little garage projects in it, and that's the kind of thing I love to do. You know, I like to tinker out here. I like to make things easy for me to tinker, and if something comes in here that I've got to actually work on, like a real job, well then, if I'm all set up, it's just so much easier, don't you reckon? What are your thoughts on all of this, guys? Now, also remember that I've got a couple of moderators will be just running around in the background. Not actually running around because they're too old. They'll be sitting down and maybe having a cup of chocolate milk or something. I don't know, warm soup. And they'll be answering questions as we're going along as well. And also looking after the situation as far as if there's any trolls drop in. But if there's any interesting questions that they feel maybe I should ask, or should be asked directly of me, they will throw them up on the screen out of sight from where you guys can't really see it. I'll see it and I'll go, all right, I've got to address that straight away. So hopefully it's all going to go well today. Now we're coming into, what is it, 6 minutes past. So there we go. Finally woke up, John. See, now I've got one of the moderators, John Lafferty, is having a little bit of a sleep. So he's, I guess there's an alarm bell, or he's got a few dogs. Maybe they jumped up on his face and started licking his face and said, come on, you got to be a moderator. Okay. Alrighty. So Jay Parra purchased a pile of magazines at a yard sale for practically nothing, been reading through them for the last year or so. I had a similar situation. Where I worked, they had a whole truckload of old magazines from 20 years old. This is 19 years old. So they were going to throw them out in the bin. I thought, no, don't throw them out. I'll grab them. So I brought them all here. And I think I remember maybe a year or two ago, I was doing a workshop tour in here, a shop tour, whatever you want to call it. And I showed you all these magazines, and I said, and have I read any? And I said, not one. I'm sure there's other people in that situation. All good intentions. Oh yeah, I'm going to study up and I'll be fine. Okay, and I've had some more responses to the new format. And people seem to think it's pretty good. I had one person say to me, Dave, you know, I was about to hang up my bloody coat with you and go elsewhere because he watches it as a recorded show. Now, if you watch it as a recorded show, you won't actually get to see all the chat running down the side. You'll just hear me talking about it, and it gets boring. So I can understand that totally. And I'm glad that you've decided to stay, and we'll see what we can do. Now, I'm also going to make a cup of coffee in the meantime because, g'day Vicky, how are you? Because talking all the time, which I'm good at, don't get me wrong, I can do it all day. I can talk underwater. I do get dry. Now let's have a look, and I'm going to try and stop saying some of the things I've been saying as well. And okay, so I'll try and stop that one. Here we go. The last couple of days, I have been at a thing called the IIATE. Now that stands for Institute of Industrial Arts Technology Education. Now this is a little conference that they had for the head teachers from high schools around New South Wales. And it's very, very interesting. I went there in my role working for Carbotech and demonstrating the saw stop machine, and I had probably around 50 people watch the first demonstration. The second day maybe around 30 odd, but it was great. I still get the same reaction every time that I put that sausage into the blade at 4,200 RPM and it stops dead stop straight away. And people say to me, Dave, have you ever done it with your finger? And I keep saying to them, you know, I've done this demonstration at least 40 times. I would not have a problem doing it. I do it. It's as easy as that. The more and more that I do this demonstration, the more impressed I am with this saw. It's not just the safety issue, also It's built totally different underneath. You can't retrofit it to other ones. Yes, you can cut wet timber. Yes, you can cut aluminium. You know, all that stuff you can do. You have to set it into a mode to be able to do it, but it defaults back to safety straight away when you've finished it. So that's enough of talking about the saw stop. So what I'm going to do now is, let me see if I have anything here. I'll run this. I've got sound coming over the top. Okay. Difference in the power bills. Yes, I have. Now, this is the things that were there. This part here is a laser inlay. How cool is that? There was lots and lots of 3D printers. And that's been done by a 3D printer with 2 different colored plastics coming in. I'm going to call it plastics. This is a post I put on Facebook the other day. It was about this isolic dovetail joint. How cool is that? All done with a CNC machine. This is all for the kids at school. Absolutely amazing. I've left this one up for a little bit longer. There was some other guys there with hand planes and stuff like that, or hand planes. This is a lovely little wood river plane I spotted there. That would be nice to see. This is the ceiling. How cool is this? That is, that's it. That was above us. There are 18 by 9 rows of LED lights. These little robots that have got automatic sensors and everything on them. They are amazing. All printed by 3D printers. And there's the little area where I was hanging out at Carbotech with the saw stop on the left-hand side. And a couple of people having a bit of a look at some of the other things that we had there as well. Now, what I might do straight off is there's been a question coming through. I think it's probably from Wayne Jones. Dave, have you noticed the difference in your power bill as yet? Not really, Wayne, because we've just come out of winter, and I also use the reverse cycle air conditioning here, which is that chews the power up a lot, and it's been cold and wet, so it's been used a fair bit. We'll see as we go through spring and autumn, because it's not so cold that I need all that other stuff happening. So it'll be interesting to see how that goes. Now, for me to have a quick look down here without stuffing things up. No, I stuffed things up. I was going to try to have a quick... Carl, can you put that question back up to me, please? The source, but there was an inch-long slices his palm as a result. Yes, I would not put my palm across it. I would run probably just the tip of my finger, so it's only going to graze it. I would do a couple of tests first before I did that. And if it did nick it, well, look, I'm not going to go straight into the side because why tempt fate? But I would let it graze me, and I wouldn't have a problem with that. And I'm sure, 100% sure, that the saw would act straight away. All right. Okay, Carl, as I say, if you can throw that post back to me through Facebook, that'd be great, and I'll have a bit of a look, see if I can sort that out. Now, there was a whole lot of 3D printing. Now, if you've been following us on Facebook in our little secret society, okay, here we go. I just need to... I'm going to jump out of the picture for a second. From Wayne, do you notice the difference in the power bills as yet? Yes, okay, done. I've addressed that one. How weird is this system? We need to fine-tune it a little bit, but we'll get there. All right. Now, you will notice that John Lafferty has made a fine-tune adjust for his Craig router table because it's in thousandths of an inch when it comes to Australia. So he made one that's metric, and hats off to him. He's done a fantastic job. So I thought I'd show you guys a little thing from the show. Now, this is 3 different types of 3D printers. Here we go. Now, this one is printing a tiny little toy truck. It's printing the wheels and the axles and the door at the back all in one hit. They're not put together after. How unbelievable is this? Now, this is MakerBot. Of all of the ones I saw there, this is probably the one that I might be interested in if I was to actually jump in and buy one. He said it's been around for ages and ages, tried and true. It's
No,
You know,
not that sort of dial.
there's a no-thrills machine, and it does all this stuff down here. Not that I want to make skeletons, but remember, this was aimed at kids, so the projects for kids to make at school. Now, see that the axles and everything, they're not pushed together or anything. They're part of the one print, and the back door and everything. Okay, so don't do it, AJ Farrow. All right. I'll tell everyone no, I can't do it because Joe Farrow said not to. This is regarding this sort of stuff. And look at those jaws down there. How cool. The chains are printed as chain. They're not joined together after. They're just printed that way as chain. Look at this. This is a bearing from an oil pump. All printed. Hold on a second. I've got to quickly have a look at what Carl's saying here.
How do these go?
Yep, all good. Okay, so I've got all the other questions for Carl there sorted. Now this one runs the product into a pool of product. Like he's putting the item down into a pool, pond of resin or whatever. The laser spins around from underneath and sets the resin at that point from the coordinates. This is incredible. Lifts it up, does a screed, cleans the top, drops it back down into there again, and runs the laser again. It's got 4.5 hours left to go on that particular print. Now I'm going to show you how that came up. Wait till it comes up to the top. But I could stand there and watch these things all day. Okay, so we're going to slide up to the top, and this is what it was making. That is amazing. Absolutely amazing. And there's all these other things down there that he was telling me. You can probably hear him talking in the background. That if they need to make a part for your body, they do a scan of your body for the part, like a hip or whatever, and they just print one for you, rather than just getting what he called a size 10 off the shelf. Okay, give me a second. I've got another question here from John. Look up the NASA 3D printed ratchet spanner done in print on the ISS. Okay, so there we go. Now, after having had a look at that, I think we should also, it's only fair that I show you John's print for his Craig. Here we go. Now, this is the Craig fine adjust for the side that adjusts the fence in thousandths of an inch. Now, John decided not to put any voice over it, so I'm having to talk to you about it. Now, I think he has done this in something 360. He'll tell me what it is. This is your problem, John. You should have told me. Done the voiceover yourself. All right, so this is in the software, and we're actually going to see it start to print. He's done this in time-lapse photography. Absolutely amazing. Fusion 360, is that it, John? Fusion 360. Last week you watched a series about 3D printing a prosthetic foot. It is amazing, absolutely amazing. Sorry I'm not into carpentry yet, guys, but I needed to fill the show a little bit because I decided on doing something and then I decided against it. So we got some other things we're doing, but we'll still work on this terrarium thing. Now this is one of the other parts. So John's made it in a two-part section so it can lock together. There's the two parts, printed in white. And he said he prints it in white because then you can go over it with a Sharpie. We call them a felt pen over here, or an indelible marker. And there's all the graduations. And John's going to show you in use. You'll see also that my video software has stretched it out elliptically a little bit. Sorry about that, John. There you go, ready to start adjusting ever so softly. It's absolutely magic. Fantastic. There we go. That's all that. How do these things blow you away, or am I the only person that's a bit of a country hick and looks at things and go, how do they do that? Like, all of this stuff has been, all of our resources are from the planet. Like, we've dug up dirt and we've refined different minerals and everything from dirt. We go out and cut trees down and we make use of all of that kind of stuff. But how the heck can we go from there to actually telling a machine to think and deposit and heat and melt and form to such precision. I don't know. Okay. Ian, g'day, Dave, liking the new format. We'll have to watch later. Okay, well, all right, I'm going to throw something of yours on in a second, Ian, but not to worry. Let me see if I actually have anything here. Here we go. I'm going to throw Ian's tip on while he's still there. So his tip for removing nails. So use a plug cutter. Just run it straight down the outside of the nail. It exposes the nail, not the snail, the nail, and get some multi-grips and drag it out. And that's pretty simple. That's great. Thanks for that, Ian. If you've got any things like that, if you've got a tip for the rest of us to see, by all means, please send it in to me, davestantonfans@gmail.com, and, you know, I'll throw it up there. Now, quickly, while I'm on the subject, someone sent a picture in to me, and I'm hoping I've still got it here. Maybe not. I'm looking. Yes, I have. And I've forgotten who sent it to me because it was... please tell me who sent this in to me. It's probably an Australian person because that is the starting grid or main straight of the Bathurst racetrack. And that would have been 2 weeks ago. So please send an email in to me and say, Dave, you idiot, you forgot to put my name up there. I kind of have an idea who did it, but not 100% sure. Now, we were also looking in that section there with the different machines. This was done on a CNC machine. I posted this on Facebook, and all of that was done in quadrants. So there's 4 actual pieces there done on the machine, and they've joined it together with what's called isolic dovetails. And here's a close-up. That blew me away. You can get templates like this for Lee jigs for doing dovetails. And I think also the Incra, you can do it with those, but I have never seen it done with a CNC machine. That is absolutely mind-blowing. This takes me back to the thing I was talking about before. You know, we're just bits of dirt. How the hell did all this happen? I'm not going to go into a God thing at the moment. I'm just saying I find it all amazing. What else have we got here? Oh, all right, here's one thing before we get too further down the track. This morning at my place, I was out feeding one of the parrots, and I turned around and noticed one of my cymbidiums was flowering, and I thought, that's nice. I love it. How nice is this? Now, you want to see some robot wars. While I was there, that's the fun part as well. As I said, it was all designed at this show to have things to appeal to kids, to make them want to get into being creative, or whatever medium, whether it's using this, you know, with robotics, or whether it's a bit of wood and fashioning it to do some things for you and joining it and having fun with that. So they had this thing there which was basically Robot Wars, and they had the little guy. Now this tiny little robot they built with a 3D printer, and on top of it there is a very, very powerful computer. Now that thing knows where it is in relation to anywhere in the world. It can do it can create a mapped area.
And you got to smile for the camera, guys.
And look around.
Give me a wave. Give me a wave.
That was
now this is a redhead, and that's why it
can create this mapped
UV,
area.
There it is. UV testing
from what's happening
with this stuff here. Amazing. Look at that.
Here's the big one. Now this one, there was a show called Robot Wars. And so the big fella came out, and the little guys come up to him, and I think I've said to him, run it over.
Go over the top of him. Do it.
It's throwing balls around all over the place. It was good fun. I don't know how long this video is going to run for, so I'll just leave it sit there until it's done, and we'll see. But that little purple thing, it tells you barometric pressure. It's got fantastic computing strength. It will tell you your speed, your acceleration. As I say, it can do a 360 pan and do a panorama of that. Look at this guy. Oh, it's so much fun. You know, they actually pay me to go and have a look at these things. Like, I go to these shows, and I love to see what else is happening. Oh, talking about shows, don't forget next weekend it's the Canberra Timber and Working with Wood show down at Canberra. It's at the racetrack, and I sent out a heap of free passes to it, and I'm hoping that everyone got them. I've had a few people get back to me and say, yeah, Dave, I've got them. It would have come in a blue wouldn't come in a blue t-shirt, came in a blue envelope. And I'm hoping everyone got them who I sent them out to. If you can let me know, that'd be great. As I say, a few people let me know, so you don't have to let me know again. But for everyone else, I'm hoping that they've arrived. All right, I think I have all of those things done. So how about we hook in? I've covered just about everything here. But again, this magazine, I love it. And Australian Wood Review, that's also a very good good magazine. And it's slightly different. This one, projects, Australian Wood Review, a project or two, but mostly about the finer stuff with woodworking. So two different kind of areas, but very good. All right, let's hook in. I'll bring the camera down here. And hopefully you guys can see what's going to be happening there. All right. Now, the other week, you won't see me. I'm going to have it just close up on the show here, on what I'm doing. Last week, I was just drilling these by hand, and if the drill got stuck by any chance, you know, it's a little bit dangerous with a hand that close, especially on the ones near the end. So I thought it might be an idea for a start to get my glasses. Okay, coming back. I thought it might be an idea to show that there is an option, just lining up the center of that. There is an option to use a clamp. I use one of my Bessies across the back, and I use this drill press table. It has a fence, it has tracks, there's a dust port in the back there, but because this is taller than the dust port and the fence, I'm using my little shop vac, my little dust extractor, whatever you want to call it, at this height. It's not going to catch a heap of the stuff, but it's going to be better than not catching anything. I will lock the wheels on my roll-around cabinet, like so it's not going to go anywhere. And now, when I turn this on, it's going to sound very loud to you guys, so have your hands very close to the volume control, because it's going to be noisy. All right, here we go. All right, you can turn your volume back up again now, because that's that. So you can see it really does help a lot. That was fantastic that it was just pulling all of that out of the way. I nearly got all of it. I was surprised. That bit that you can see after having, it's just ordinary tool steel, I think, this particular cutter. You can see that after, down here it's all blue. You can see I've done a whole lot of holes with it, and it's starting to burn a little bit. But have a look down in there. You can see, possibly, how neat those holes are. Now we're going to move on to the next section now. I'll bring this away from there. Let's see if that's going to get me all right there. Possibly, possibly, possibly. Yep, good. All right. Now, on the first one that I made, I used the handheld router over the top. Like I helped put it down on the bench, it didn't go anywhere, and I routed out a 1/16 round over. I think that's what I've got in there is a 1/16. And it just makes it so nice. Here, this is another thing. Listen to this. I reckon I could make a little musical instrument with this different depth holes, and as I run my palm over the top, it would give me different pitches. What do you think? All right. What's the next thing? I need to go over to the router, over to the dust extractor and make sure that's turned on. And also one of the other things, guys. I was asked the other week. I'll turn this up slightly. I was asked the other week about sound because you'll notice as I move around backwards and forwards from this camera, which is my webcam, and also the microphone as part of it. See, this is why I'm going to get rid of those fluorescent tubes. It's affecting the light. If I was to turn this around and aim it towards the LEDs, you wouldn't get any furry happening at all. You watch it. See the difference? That's a big difference between that and that. See, I start to fade out a bit. Anyway, I change subjects all the time. All right. New Jersey, hooked on the Dave Stanton show. Thank you. Thanks, Pierre. Do you recommend brand of Forstner Bits? Yeah. Forstner Bits. Well, I use the little Carbotech ones for the cheapies, and for tungsten I use CMT. I don't have any CMTs because I've never really got into a situation where I need to have a whole lot of holes done with the Forstner bit. I normally use other types of spade bits and things like that. But inside here, doing the UJK path guide system, I used the tungsten one that Peter supplied from Axminster, and it went great. Very happy with it. Back to where I was. Sound. See, I change around a heap. All right, sound. Now, on the videos that I do, the normal videos I do, I have a Rode microphone, which is a wireless setup, and it works perfectly with one of my ordinary video cameras. Now, unfortunately, I don't have the capacity to be able to plug that video camera into this software. As I did say, the software that I've got to run this show costs around $600. Now, this is not a plea for money. I'm just letting you know that it cost me around $600 to get the software just to run this show. So that isn't allowing me to run my external microphone with this. There's a new version they've brought out, and yes, I could go and buy it if I want to, but I don't really want to spring the extra money. So if you guys can put up with this change of volume backwards and forwards, and I'll let you know if you've got to turn the sound down before I turn the machine on, if I remember. If you're all good with that, that's fine. Next thing is router table, and we'll do these holes here. I'll tip that down to about there. See, it blows all of the lights a fair bit. All right, where are we up to? Peter, new instrument. The Stangery Do. Yes, it could well be. It could well be. Well done, Carl. Peter, hello everyone. Running late today, I am. That's like, what's the name of that guy in Star Wars? Don't you love it when you forget something right in the middle of Yoda. Yoda. That's how Yoda talks. Running late, I am. So you take the first two words from the beginning of the saying and you put it at the end. That's Yoda talk. Ah. I'm getting some earmuffs. There they are. And I've got to make this coffee soon. So you'll hear me traveling from one side of the screen to the other side of the screen because this is a stereo microphone. All right. Is And safety back into there. Down there like so. This guy over here. One there. I'm going to, the earmuffs might have been a bit of an indication for you that I am going to turn things on. So if you would like to turn your sound down a little bit now, because I'm going to start the router and also the dust extractor. So turn it down. Oh, that's not starting, is it, David? There we go. This time it'll do it. There we go. Quality, beautiful. Right. All right, you can turn your sound back up again. Now, some people may have just turned around. Some people may have just gone, oh my God, what are you doing, Dave? The cutter that's in there at the moment has a bearing on the top. So for that to catch on anything would be almost impossible. So I'm lining up the hole with the bearing, dropping it down, and then rotating. It's a very small cutter. It's a 1/16 round over. You can see there. Okay, and what a difference it makes to the touch. Absolutely beautiful. Easier and probably a little bit safer if you have it in a vise and a hand router over the top. But honestly, for a bearing cutter, that's fine. If it was an ordinary cutter sitting straight up, there's no way I would put a piece of timber over a router cutter like that. So as I say, bearing there, everything was, all the first contacts, there are no cutting edges on it. It's only when I get to the bottom. Now I'm going to have a look at the time. We've still got plenty of time there. Dave M. Hi, Dave. You rock. Greetings from Michigan. The Davery Do. That's a good one. A Davery Do. That's Peter Lysiak. Late running I am. G'day, Dave. Who's got some other stupid things to say? Like Peter did just then. Sorry, Peter. I didn't mean to give you a hard time. All right. What's the next thing? I am going to wax the block. So, wax the block. Wax the block. I am going to. No. Going to wax the block. I am. That's the other talk. There we go. Slide this over here. And we'll spin this one around that way. Thumbs up, you must. Oh, I love it. Love it, love it, love it. Alrighty, coming around this side. Look at this. I had a chat to the guys down there, and they gave me this 3D printed. Now, I'm going to turn that into a vacuum nozzle. I reckon it'd be funny, sucking things up. Maybe it wouldn't be, but you know, I'm a little bit weird like that. Here we go. Wax. Now, triple E wax is what I use, and sometimes I'll just use ordinary paper towel. If you're going to use material like cotton, try and make sure that there is absolutely no color to it, because I found that the wax does kind of leach the color out and makes it muddy and dirty on the timber. So use white, cotton, an old t-shirt, possibly, and that's the stuff I use, as I say, the triple E wax. Triple E as in EEE and triple E powder, which is Tripoli. So it's a play on words. That's what's in there. Tripoli powder is an abrasive, a very, very, very fine abrasive. So what we'll do is keep my eye on the time, and I'm going to grab a coffee as we're going along, but I don't know if you can see how much I'm not putting on. You don't put a lot of wax on, because we're just going to have to rub it off. You know, wax on, wax off. I'm hoping you can see that all right. You watch the difference to the timber when I put the wax on. Look at that, in comparison to that end. I love wax. You may not have noticed, but I do. And yeah, I'm not going to get it on the underside because remember, I'm putting felt, self-adhesive felt, on the underside. And anywhere you put wax, you're not going to get anything to bond to it. While I'm doing this, because this is a bit of a boring part, I'll talk about the weather. Well, it's been very dry for a long time in New South Wales and Canberra, or the ACT, if you want to call it the ACT. And it probably still is dry down there. So we went 76 days, I think, without rain, which is a long time. I know around the world as well they've had wildfires and bushfires and whatever you want to call them. And then 2 days ago, I think it was, we got about 40 millimeters, which is 1 inch and 5/8, close enough. Yeah, it'd be 38 mil, I think, is 1.5 inches. So it'd be close to that. And I know I had that much because the water tank that I've got on the house is 10,000 litres, and it was half full before that rain. It's not, we don't rely on that water for drinking. It's a water saving function, you know, for part of it's for firefighting, part of it's for used in the toilets and the washing machine, things like that, and also for in the garden. Anyway, it was half full, and I'll tell you a little way of working out how much rain you're getting. The roof area on my place is exactly 100 square meters. That's on the house. Now, for every, this is one of the advantages of metric. This is why I love metric. For every millimeter of rain that's fallen on 1 square meter is 1 litre. That's pretty cool, isn't it? 1 litre. So for every millimetre of rain off my roof, there's 100 litres goes in the tank. So I know if I've got 5,000 litres in the tank, I've had 50 millimetres of rain. Easy. Easy. Now you try and do that with gallons and what have you. And you guys don't even agree with gallons. You got a US gallon and an imperial gallon. I just don't get it. Is this to stress kids at school out so they got to learn all these different things? It's crazy. How's the talk going? Jeff, Dave, is the same wax you put on the Stanton benchtop? No, I used the neutral. I'll grab the other one. I can show you what the one I put on the benchtop. Traditional wax. It's the same company, but it's called Traditional Wax. I'll put it right in front of the camera. Okay. Now, the reason I use that is it's got a slightly satin finish. It's not a gloss. You can use the Tripoli on it if you wanted to. Not a problem. Ah, here's something as well. The plans for this bench have been going great. I'm so impressed. I'm humbled by the fact that people would think that the idea was good enough for them to actually pay a couple of bucks and buy the plants. Oh, I couldn't believe it. Anyway, what's happening is we've got a moderator on here, and I'm going to put him in at the moment, Steve Innes, and he's very, very good with design, as you would have seen if you follow the show at all. Steve's very good. So is also John. And probably there's a whole heap of people out there that are good at stuff that I can't do. Now, I can draw a plan by hand. I haven't got a problem with that, and that's what I did. I drew all these plans by hand. And Steve said, you know what, Dave, I'll do a set for you for free. I'll draw them up for you because you've helped people out. I said, that's fantastic. So he's doing that for me at the moment. And so I will be putting them onto the Etsy site to replace the hand-drawn ones that I've done. And I think that's extremely generous of him. What do you reckon? You know, that's so nice. And also considering Steve's under the pump doing a whole heap of stuff for other people as well. You know, like people that actually pay him. But I thought that was brilliant. Now, don't any of you go asking Steve to draw your house plans because he'll turn around and say, no, he's just doing this as a favour for me. It didn't have to happen, but I'll tell you what, that he's almost convinced me that I need to learn how to use drawing software. Notice I say almost. Almost. Now, when I've finished getting all of this wax on, are you enjoying the new format, guys? This is, you notice that it's basically me having a chat. I'm doing stuff in the shed, and every time I glance up at the screen, well, then I'll have a look and see if there's anything up there. Dawn is showing up. New blades just one. Paul loved it. Yes, too late, Carl. Way ahead of you, Peter Lisiak. Pommy, thanks for the answers about the Triple E finish. So if you're happy with me just talking like this, I'll have a glance up. I'm not going to answer everyone's questions because I can't just stop. People that are watching the recorded section of the show are saying, come on, Dave. I love wax. Now, if you're interested in learning how to do French polishing using shellac, I'm not a French polisher by any stretch of the imagination, but I can get myself by. So if you want to do shellac, wax is the last process of doing shellac. It's not the beginning. Your first coat of shellac, if you hook in with 1-to-1 ratio of denatured alcohol and a shellac mix, as in the wet stuff. If you get the flakes, you got to do it all different. I don't know how to use the flakes. I know how to the pre-mixed shellac. I know how to do that one. 1-to-1 for your first coat. Wipe it on. Leave it there. The whole thing is with shellac. You're building the product up. It's not. It's like putting a couple of coats of Estopol on, almost, except for you got to be careful if you're putting the second coat on. If you wipe it too much, you start dragging the first coat off because it starts to what would you call it? Starts to wet it back up again and pull it back out of the grain. The whole thing is with shellac is you're trying to fill the grain. So once you've got all the grain filled to your desire, then at the end you can go with a wax coat like this stuff to protect it all. All right, I think that's enough waxing. Let me see what's happening here. Andrew, you love it. Good. Excellent. So there we go. Now, here's another tip. These strips on the bench are fantastic for holding things in position. But do not put something that's been waxed on top of there to hold it while you're buffing it, because the black mark will go onto that. Just a tip. Seeing we did the small one first, I will buff that off. Now I'm using, see, look at this. Here's one I prepared earlier. This is my, this is just a little 6-inch orbital sander, and I have the 380 Vlies, pronounced by the Germans Vlies. So V-L-I-E-S, and this is a 380 grit. These are designed for rubbing down metals. It's aluminium oxide. I do not use the dust extractor with it. I just plug straight in. It comes as a 320, I think it was, did I say? And also an 800 equivalent to grit. I turn the machine right down to slow, and I use the super soft pad. Okay, so it's got a whole lot of flexibility on it. Of course, when I'm going around the corners here, if I use a hard pad, what will happen is it'll take the wax off. This tends to flow with it. So I'm going to do a little bit of, let me see, what are we doing here? What are the blocks for? Yeah, okay, that's a good idea. Test tube holders for growing plant cuttings. I have put a picture right at the beginning of the show. I've thrown a few pictures up of what it's for. And it works brilliantly. You know, people make tea light holders out of wood. And it's a crafty thing. You know, there's not a lot of talent goes into doing this. And that's why I'm doing it, because I want to do some things that are very simple, but give you a really good feeling of result. It's like kid coming home from school with a first class project. Look what I did at school, Mum. It's the same kind of thing, but it's fun. The reason I'm doing it is I'm taking you through the process of doing the different machines. We cut with it, we put it over the jointer, we've used a drill press, I'm waxing, we used a router, and doing a bit of polishing. So I think it's a great little project to take us through all the steps. Now I need you to turn the sound down again, because it is going to get a little louder. I don't need it, the sound is not going to hurt my ears, but you know, it might go while I'm doing it. Like, as in coming through your system. Okay, just reading the comment there regarding the irrigation. You can turn the sound back up again. That's nearly done. But how do you like that? As I say, all it is something nice to look at and also nice to touch. This is so important with products that are going to go inside a house, especially if you want to make a little feature of it. Like, you'll say, look at my test tubes, and they're going to say, you're a weirdo. But if you've got a little plant hanging out of the top of them, and as I say, I showed you that video earlier, how nice they come up. And you got this little sound. Ha! I love it. Absolutely love it. There we go. Where are we up to? Very nice, Ed Flower. What was the pad again? I wish you would post specifics so we can refer to them as you're using them. Well, Ed, I did say specifics then. Okay, this is Festool Vlies. Okay, so that's Festool Vlies, V-L-I-E-S, and it's a 320 grade. You can also get it as an 800. You can also get it as a outright polishing pad. You can get it as a much more coarse green one, which is I think around 80 grit equivalent. The pad is the super soft pad for the Festool ETS 155. So 150/5. I don't think I can get much more specific than that, but if you need more, by all means, post a comment, and I will try and address that in the comment box. So as I say, at the end of the show, I try and capture all the chat that's happened as well and pop that up there. And then I'll post it as 2 comments at the top, because I can't post it all as 1 comment, there's so much. But for anyone who wants to help the show along, put a comment after the show, after the recording has gone out again, and that should be about an hour from when I finish the show. Post comments, give me thumbs up if you're enjoying the show, if you think it's worthwhile. If I don't get the thumbs up, I look at it and think, well, you know, maybe no one's liking it, so I may not do it. I'm not trying to put your arm up on your back, say, like my show. If you like it, like it. If you don't, well, that's fine. There's other things to look at as well. I know that I'm not the only thing out there. The only thing out there, I am not. There we go. How about we do Yoda talk in the comments all week next week? That'd be something. Oh, you know what? That'd be really hard to do, because I'm not going to be here next week. You know why? I'll be at the show. So I'll be down at the Canberra Timber and Working with Wood show on Friday, Saturday and Sunday. If you want to drop in and say good day, that'd be fantastic. I love to meet people. Bring your phone with you and we'll do a selfie. Pop it up on Facebook if you like that. That's fine. I'm happy to do that for you as well. What's the time? It's about 5 minutes to go. Let me see what have we got. Anything else happening here? Very nice, Dave. John, I'll have to get some of those pads at the show. Nice looking panpipe, Dave. It would be, yeah. How cool would that be? The John, they're not going to. We won't be carrying any stock of the pads at the show. But if one of the other guys that are at the show are carrying them, by all means. They're not a pad that's really well known. I stumbled across it because I go to Festool training once a year, and they show you the different things they have. And when they started doing some waxing finishes on timber, I fell in love with the stuff. I couldn't get enough of it. And so then I was trying my own simple methods of trying to replicate what they'd done down there, because I forget things. And I stumbled across the lies and of fleece. And I absolutely love it. And this Triple E, wax, absolutely beautiful. Now you notice during then, I put the sander on the bench, because the bench is waxed. I can do that. I can just run across with the flies, with the fleece, and tidy it up, because there was a couple of deposits of wax dropped onto it. I thought, well, rather than scrape them off, I'll just blend them back into the top. Brilliant. Absolutely fantastic. Where are we up to, guys? Fuck, you got ahead of me, Dave. Okay, Peter. Robbie. Dave, preference between ETS and ETS EC sanders. Oh, damn, I missed it. Well, look, you don't have to miss. There's all the stuff there in the recording. Watch it again if you want to. The ETS EC, probably. The thing is, you can see this is an old machine. I've had it for a long time. I think the EC is the one that's brushless, and it's a much smaller footprint. I love it. You know, if I had my time over again, I'd probably get that instead of this guy. The good thing about it also, so watch this. When I turn this one off, still going, still going, still going, still going, still going, still going. Takes a long time to put it down. I normally have the back with me, and I'll drop it upside down in the back. Or I've got this guy over here. This thing here is designed to hook it on and hold onto it while it's slowing down. So there's all these things you can do, but with the EC, I think it's the EC, it stops like that. I love it. And it doesn't get hot. It's nice and cool to touch. You're paying another couple $100 for it. Is it worth it? If you're doing this kind of stuff all the time, yes, definitely worth it. It'll outlast this, and it's so much more easy to use. I know in the automotive industry, the guys like it a lot. All right, well, I think we're just about done, guys. Lunchtime, yep. Michael Christopher's, Dave, good, did you... yes, is that a shot at talking Yoda there, Michael? Did you polish good? Yes, I did polish good. It looks lovely. I'm going to keep on going, guys. I'm going to I'll polish this one up. And if you want to hang around while I'm doing it, by all means, I will let the show keep running a little bit. But as I say, remember, if you're after a publication, Australian Woodsmith, I don't get anything for it. I just like what they do. It's a good magazine. And next weekend, I'm not doing any video either. Because I'm just, this week, I'm under the pump. Because I've got a truck license, I'm the driver. I'll be taking everything down to the show. I've also got a forklift license, so I'll be unloading it all. And then I'll be doing the saw stop demonstrations down there. I'll be doing all the other stuff and having fun. I really enjoy it. I'm not saying that because I'm going, oh, woe is me, I've got to do everything. I love doing it. But give you a little bit of background. There is a lot of work goes into putting these shows together for everyone. And I'm stuffed at the end of it, so I don't have time to get a video out next week. And I will not be live next week. But I will just keep going on here. And what have we got here? I have the same sander. Smoke went everywhere. Where you find the skid tape. I've got, show it is. See you in 2 weeks. Have a great time at the show. I will try and do some videos down at the show, though. I will go and interview a few people that are down there. That's always fun. The tape, I've got links in the description box where you can get it. If you jump into Amazon through my links, whether you're in the USA, England, Canada, Spain, Germany, or France, I have links for each different country. You jump in there and then just type in cushion tape Festool and it will pop up, and that will help the show. While I'm on that, I need some people in France, Germany, and Spain and Canada to buy a couple of products. I need 3 products bought in each of those countries, and then it locks me in. I can keep that little store happening. I'm fine with USA and England. I'm all looked after there. But if there's anyone out there, if you want to grab something, please. I'm only after 3 sales, and then I'll shut up about it. And that locks me in. I've got a time limit. That's the only reason I'm saying that. Now I'm going to keep on doing this. If you want to watch, that's great. If you want to see it, if you want to chuff off, see you next time. I will. See you later. Gonna be noisy again. There you go. Have to wait for it to stop turning. Not familiar with Festool products. Is it a sanding disc or a polishing disc? Someone said with 200 grit paper will work. I don't think the 200 grit paper will work. You know, maybe it does for them, but any experience I've had with 200 grit paper, the wax bogs it up super quick, and it doesn't do anything. The Valise is a very open weave aluminium oxide. You can see on there how it does get a little bit of it stuck on it, but not much. I think the paper would just clag up. I've never had any success with it. Bob, thanks, good. Bob, very entertaining show. It was. You are from where? Blue Mountains in Australia, buddy. John, liked it. I did. Okay. Okay, my turn. Here we go. I'm coming around to this side. Ready? Here's my little Yoda talk. Finish it, I will. See you later.